Welcome to a momentary lapse of reason where Twitter thinks they know better than me what to do with my free time, and they're completely right. Microsoft releases diskless Xbox One S console. Microsoft launched a digital-only version of the Xbox One gaming console which will work through game downloads instead of a traditional disk drive format. Who's this for? Besides Microsoft. It's one thing if you don't mind getting games digitally, if you prefer that, if it's cheaper, if it's faster, but to not even have the option to do it, is it cheaper? 1 terabyte, comes with a couple games. I don't know, I'm gonna have to go deeper on this one. 250 bucks. Okay, so I don't own an Xbox, I don't even know what the normal one costs. I guess that's cheaper. I think that's about the same cost as a Switch. I guess this is where we're moving. When you make games a service, when you make anything a service, whether it's video, Netflix, whatever, you're letting them take that much more away from you of what you actually own when you have media, when you have products, when you have things that you buy. You're not buying a product, you're buying a license to use something, and they can just take it away from you anytime they want, which, yes, there's contracts and there's terms of service and stuff, but I'm just not comfortable with that. I don't think I own any systems that are digital only. Switch, there's cartridges for that. PS4's got discs. I mean, I think you just need that option. You need to have something tangible there that you can work with and just have something you can look back on and create memories out of. And I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe it's a generational thing, but I just can't go for this. Avatar 2 delayed yet again, now set for December 2021 release. Speaking of things that I don't know who they're for, yes, the original Avatar, was a massive hit. I think not adjusted for inflation, it's still the highest grossing movie ever. But it's been a decade. And nobody talks about that movie anymore. And I think I actually even saw a think piece, even now it's been a few years ago, just saying, like, what happened to this movie? I mean, it made so much money, and it didn't really have any cultural impact because... And I think the reason is because it was just it was very much style over substance. I mean, it was a great style. I saw that in theaters. I was just like blown away by the 3D because they shot it with actual 3D cameras, which, let's be honest, is really the way you want to do it. And just the look of the world and everything about it was very exciting. I mean, it was an epic movie. It is an epic movie, but it doesn't translate well to home video, and I think it just doesn't have that longevity to it. And it was kind of a fad, honestly. It was one movie, but it was kind of a fad. And now so much time has passed. And all they've really done in between now and then is have that weird park in Florida or wherever it is. I think it's a Disney thing, which I've heard was just basically like a dry run for the tech animatronics and some of the immersive stuff that they're planning on doing for the Star Wars park. It was just kind of them workshopping that basically with a property that they knew was popular but wasn't going to be a huge make or break like Star Wars or Marvel or Disney, any of that ever Disney stuff. But for them to, I guess James Cameron, I don't know who's plan this is to keep making these things. It sounds more like a threat. It sounds more like a threat than something that actually anybody is really looking forward to. I don't know a single person who cares about these. They haven't released any footage, any plot synopses. All we've got are these vague release dates, and I just do not care. I really don't. I like the idea of that world, but it's kind of like where I am with Star Wars and Harry Potter now, where I'm good. I have got enough out of that world, out of those characters. Sam Worthington, he's probably not going to be in it. I really don't know. I mean, he's been a piece of wood and everything else that he's appeared in since that movie. It's absolutely astonishing. But I can't even think of where they're going to go with it in a way that's going to really bring anybody into the theater just outside of name recognition, which maybe that's all they're counting on. But I don't think it's going to... I know it's not going to make anywhere near as much money as the first movie. Because the Marvel Universe has demonstrated that to really get to that level, you've got to be consistently putting out these movies, having characters that people care about, having like an integrated world, having all this marketing. I haven't seen an Avatar toy or breakfast cereal or shirt or anything since, what was it, nearly a decade ago. I guess we'll just see what happens. Disney confirms 3 new Star Wars movies starting in 2022. Boy, we're on a roll. The release of Disney's combined movie release schedule confirmed a new trio of Star Wars films, but which, if any, of the numerous previously announced projects will make it to screens? Untitled Star Wars, Untitled Star Wars, Untitled Star Wars. 2024, 2026. Oh god, I'm not ready for this. All right, we're switching gears here. Tolkien, Aladdin, Dark Phoenix. Oh, Fox, yeah, because they're doing that now. What the hell is Stuber? Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Ron's Gone Wrong. Is that a Harry Potter spinoff? Okay, I can't do this. I can't go through all of this. It's going to be a whole separate video. Yeah, like I said, it's going to be a real race at this point to see which of those franchises I care about less. I saw Solo in theaters. I did, only because I was invited, which takes a lot for me to turn that kind of thing down. But I'm not actively going out of my way to see these movies anymore. I am really just okay with the stories that have been told, the characters that I've seen. I know that there was an Obi-Wan movie that was workshopped. Maybe that's not the right word, but they supposedly were looking at doing something like that with Ian McGregor again. He's been down for it, apparently. That might be cool. I guess they're doing a Boba Fett show for that Disney Plus thing. But theater-wise, if they're continuing the sequel trilogy, I'm just not feeling it. I mean, if they're doing totally new characters, maybe. I don't really know. They've just kind of pivoted things so much away from George Lucas at this point that maybe it's rose-tinted glasses, but I feel like as bad as the prequels were, it was a singular kind of insanity. It was one guy's vision of where this whole thing was going, and even if he was making it up as he went along, there was still this consistency and this heart to it. And I just have not felt that with the newer movies, and it's got nothing to do with political whatever about, characters and arcs and stuff. It's just like, it's storytelling by committee. We're swapping out directors, we're course correcting, we're fixing all of this stuff. I'm not saying it's sold out. Obviously, Star Wars has been a marketing bonanza since it was created. All those little Kenner action figures and everything, that would be stupid of me to say that it was like not commercial until now. Back what I was saying about the top grossing movies of all time, adjusted for inflation, first is Gone with the Wind, second is the original Star Wars. So it's always been about the money. I get that, but just the interminability of it at this point, there's not even an illusion that they're going to stop. It's just tiresome. It just feels like you're just running laps over and over again, and you just want to take a break and do something else, but we're all getting this push on us now because now Disney owns them and they can't ever let it go. I'm going to go to the Disney park. I live at the PNW, so it's pretty easy for me to make it down to Anaheim and check that out, but once I've checked that out, I might get some of these movies for my folks as gifts, but I'm not turning out for it unless someone asks me to. People call for Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin's arrest over Trump's taxes. Well, I think he should just be arrested for looking like John Oliver got stung by a bunch of bees, but I don't do federal law, so 6 one, half dozen of the other. Breaking down what's wrong with personal finance shaming articles. So let's see what this is all about. Infographic. Average American spends almost $18,000 a year on non-essentials. Breakdown of some things the typical American spends on non-essentials. Restaurant meals, $209. I guess I'm guilty of that sometimes. Drinks, $189. I'm assuming they mean mostly coffee, unless you're an alcoholic. Takeout / delivery, $178. That's some expensive Chinese and pizza. Buying lunch. I guess eating is optional. That's new. Impulse purchases, $109. T-shirts. I often have an impulse to go to work with a shirt on. It happens. Ride shares, $96. That's new. It's cheaper than buying a car. Personal grooming. Okay. All right. Yeah. This is just starting to sound like some of those Republicans that get on television and say that homeless people don't deserve food stamps because they have phones, or people below the poverty line have a fridge. It's just to be shaming people or lecturing them over this. I mean, yeah, there are people who make ridiculous expenses, and there are all of those jokes about millennials or whoever spending $5 on coffee or $1 million on avocados or whatever, but this is so obviously just trying to pass the buck for economic problems that are far outside the scope of this infographic, far outside the scope of this video, but it's really audacious to try to be, acting like you're cute and helpful like this with this kind of information, and I suppose it is to some degree, but I mean, if someone's got money troubles, it's not coming down to whether or not they're getting a haircut or buying pizza occasionally. It's going to come down to because they're not getting paid enough for working their asses off. In all honesty, most of this is, I think, sensible enough. I mean, the figures, I don't really know where they're getting these numbers from. It's a balance. It really is a balance, I got to say. I think it's pretty ballsy to say that people should cut down on eating or taking care of themselves or having leisure time. I'm pretty sure that's what the Industrial Revolution was about, is making sure people can actually enjoy themselves after they get off of the work. And I know we're not all at coal mills anymore, but sitting like this for 8 hours a day, I mean, something down on the couch, probably not that much healthier, but at least you're looking at something more interesting. The intentions here are dubious, and the information is potentially useful, but this is misdirection. There's larger questions that have to be asked, and people more qualified than I am are asking them, but USA Today is not going to be solving those problems. A massive plate of eggs featured on Fox News ended up getting the spotlight. Well, he knows what he likes. I respect that, for better or worse. Quantity and quality. A leak of Detective Pikachu isn't what you think. Well, let's see what it is. What the heck? I could readily see watching this for an hour and 42 minutes. I'm assuming it's a loop. I don't know. I don't think someone had the strength to animate a whole thing of that. I gotta admit it. I'm gonna go see that. I grew up on Pokemon. I was a hardcore Pokemon fan as a little kid, and people kind of talk about whether it's gonna break that curse of bad video game movies. But I think honestly, Pokemon has long since eclipsed even being a video game. I mean, it's just it's not a fad anymore. It's not a phenomenon like it was anymore. But it's kind of its own thing. It really has been since the late '90s. Just the anime, the cards, all that stuff, and then a live action movie. So fingers crossed on that. All right, well that's it for this week. I hope to do this more regularly, for better or worse. Sure, in the meantime, to check out the Twitter, Instagram, and my blog, and whatever else in the meantime I come up with on here.